So good morning, everyone. So in yesterday's class, we studied uh, the edge analytics. So how the data gathered by a sensor can be analyzed as close as to the edge, so that the real-time decisions can be taken when the event is still occurring and can enhance the performance of a system. So today we shall study the another aspect of analysis. So that is network analytics. So unlike the data analytics, it is all about finding the patterns generated by the data at the endpoints or the data that is stored in the cloud. Whereas in network analytics, so it is about analyzing the details of the communication patterns made by the protocols and correlate them across the network. So data analytics will only deal with finding the patterns generated by the sensor, whereas the network analytics analyzes the communication patterns made by the protocols. So this allows us to understand what is the normal behavior in the network and what is the anomaly or deviation from the normal behavior. So by identifying the abnormal behavior in the network, so we can analyze what is the problem. So the problem in the network might be due to sub suboptimal paths, intrusive bot or malware, or maybe due to congestion in the network. So the analysis of traffic patterns is one of the most powerful tool for a network engineering troubleshooting. So this is a smart grid analytics with a network flow. So this is an example of flow based network. So that is FAN, field area network. So here there are three sites: site 1, site 2 and site 3. So all these networks are connected to a border router, each one of them, which are in turn connected to the network or cloud, where the data is aggregated together from these three sites and stored in the cloud or the data center. By performing the network analytics, it offers us the capability to plan for scaling of network and security monitoring to detect the abnormal traffic volume and patterns for both central and distributed architectures. So if an IoT device is sending a data to a specific server, then either directly by an application or through a IoT broker, then the data sent by this particular sensor or IoT device is encapsulated in a given protocol. So when we are using the protocol to have a data communication, then that particular data flow is always be having a pair of source and destination address along with the sender port number and receiver port numbers. So these source address, destination address, sender port address and the receiver port address are used in network analytics. So they play a very key role in identifying the flows. So when we know the protocol that is being used in communication, then we can use many available tools to analyze the traffic flow. So that is why the adoption of IP architectural framework for IoT is important. If we use the IP protocol for communication in IoT, then the already available tools which are deployed by the internet service providers can be made used, which will allow us to categorize the traffic flow. So this traffic flow identification may have source address, destination address, port numbers. Along with that, the timing and the volume also plays the important role. So these factors can be analyzed and traffic flow can be categorized whether it is a normal behavior or a abnormal behavior. So this particular network analytics can also be used in centralized routers or switches that aggregate the subnetworks, as well as at a node that are highly distributed and they are connected to last mile of the infrastructure. So information or the network parameters can be obtained either at a last mile node where the data is generated, or at a router which aggregates all the subnetworks. So once the data is collected from these nodes, it can be sent to the external network analytics tool. So that will have a unique network managers that will perform the security or the performance analysis of the communication that is happening in the network. So there are few advantages that the network management has. So the first advantage is having a network analytics is it can monitor and profile the network traffic. So the flow collection from the network layer, it provides a global and distributed real-time monitoring capabilities. So both IPv4 and IPv6 network-wide traffic volume and pattern analysis can be done, which helps the administrators to proactively detect the problems and troubleshoot them and recover from the problems. So the analysis of data through a flow can be analyzed by the network administrators, and problems, if there are any, can be rectified. So second advantage is, unlike network traffic, application traffic can also be monitored and profiled. So a specific application traffic can be monitored to gain a detailed time-based view of IoT access services, maybe including the application layer protocols such as MQTT, COAP, DNP3. So all these application layer protocols of IoT, they will generate the data that is transmitted over the network. So the data generated by these applications can be analyzed, and that can give the insight of the traffic generated by a specific application. The next advantage of using network analytics is the capacity planning. So flow analytics can be used to track and to anticipate IoT traffic, how it can grow in the near future. This will help in planning the upgradations of the network infrastructure facilities over a long period of time. So this analysis gives an opportunity to track the growth of traffic so that the network infrastructure can be enhanced to accommodate the rising need of communications. So the capacities can be increased or decreased based on the traffic analysis or the network data analytics that can be performed. So the next benefit is security analysis. So most of the IoT devices, they generate low volume of traffic and they always send their data to the same server. So any change in the network traffic behavior will indicate a cyber security event, such as maybe a denial of service attack. So security can be enforced by ensuring that no traffic is sent from outside the scope of the current IoT domain. So in IoT environments, so a device will send the data to its server. So the device and the server to which the data is sent, they are all fixed. And how the sensor will send the data, at what time it will send, and what will be the size of the packet sent by that sensor. So all of them will be known to the developers. So while analyzing the traffic, if there are any deviations from the known factors, then it indicates that there is a security event that might have occurred in the network. So that traffic can be analyzed. So sometimes what happens in denial of service attack, so simply the request will be sent to the server. So the server gets overloaded with the requests. Once the server gets overloaded, it will start denying the actual requests or legitimate requests. So such attacks can also happen by analyzing the network behavior. Whenever there is a deviation, that can be caught up by the analysis tools and appropriate security action can be taken. The next advantage that these network analysis has is accounting. So in the field area networks, so router and gateways are those nodes which are physically isolated and they will not have a public access to those devices. So there will be thousands of gateways connecting to last mile IoT infrastructure over cellular network flow. So flow monitoring can thus be used to analyze and optimize the billing purposes. So the data consumptions can be recorded. So just like how our mobile data usage is recorded, so similarly, the data usage in the network can also be recorded. This helps in billing purpose. So in enterprise applications, so many of them will provide or lease the network infrastructure. So based on the amount of traffic, the time duration for which the network is used, so the clients or the consumers can be billed for that particular purpose. So that accounting can be done if network analytics tools are present in the network infrastructure. The last advantages of using network analytics tool include the data warehousing and mining. So the network flow data can be stored in a data warehouse, which can be retrieved and analyzed in the later stages where multi-services and IoT infrastructure and various applications are used. So the network flow data is collected and it is stored so that it can be analyzed in future to analyze the capacity planning or security issues or for accounting purposes. So these are the few advantages of using the flow analytics. So it includes network traffic monitoring and profiling, application traffic monitoring and profiling, capacity planning, security analysis, accounting, and finally data warehousing and data mining. So one of the architectures that is built for network flow analysis includes the flexible net flow. So the short form used for this is FNF. So this is a standardized net flow architecture. So it is developed by the Cisco systems and it is deployed in almost all networks. So this architecture has few key advantages. So it is flexible, scalable, and it can aggregate the data flow from multiple sources. It has the ability to monitor wide range of packet informations and produce new information about the behavior of the network. And the network anomaly and security detection can be done using this particular tool, and it is easily configurable, and the network analyst can customize the traffic identification process, and it has the ability to focus and monitor the specific network behavior, and it can also converge the multiple accounting technologies into one accounting mechanism. So if we have many other parameters for accounting, so all of them can be aggregated together in this particular tool. So this is the architecture or overview of the FNF tool. It has main components such as flow monitor, flow record, exporter, export timer, export formatter, server for collecting and reporting the data. So if you observe here, from the sender to network, from a sender to the net flow collector, there will be something called as FNF flows. So these FNF flows, they have two fields. One is key field, another one is non-key field. So key fields are fixed, whereas the non-key fields include length and packet count. So for each flow that originates from a sender to destination is given a flow number. It is always the first packets that initializes the flow. Whenever a first packet is sent in the communication, that indicates a new flow is being created from the sender to receiver. Whenever a first packet is sent, an entry is created in the database. That entry will have source IP, destination IP, source port number, destination port number, the protocol that is used in network layer, and the TOS bytes it has, and also the interface that is used. So these fields are created whenever a first packet is sent in the flow. And when all the subsequent packets appear on a network, then all these things are compared. So these parameters will be same for all the subsequent packets also. So the same entries are just updated, a new entry is not created. So in this particular tool, the key components include the FNF flow monitor. So it is also called as a NetFlow cache. So this NetFlow cache, the information is stored in the cache memory. So this contains the flow record. So flow record include key fields as well as non-key fields. So these things are stored in the cache memory. So this flow monitor includes various caching characteristics. They include timers for exporting, size of the cache, and also if required, packet sampling rates are also included here. So this is the cache, one of the component in FNF. The next component in the FNF tool is the flow record. So the record includes key as well as non-key net flow fields that are used to categorize a flow in the cache. So flow records will have a predefined set of parameters, so that will be helpful in customizing the analysis process. So the flow records, if they are predefined, then aggregation of different flow data to allow users to a common application can be done if we are maintaining a predefined flow record. So in the first component, it is just a cache memory to store the flow record. The second component is the flow record itself. The third component, we have the exporter. So in this tool, there will be an exporter. So the data that is collected by the analytics tool is to be exported to the next component that will do the analysis. So the two primary methods for exporting the data include the command line interface and the application reporting tools. So in using these two methods, so one can bring the analyzed data into the reporting tool. So where reports can be generated. So unlike the SNMP polling or data pushing mechanisms, here the export tool will send the data that is being gathered by the FNF flow recorder component. So multiple exports can be configured in this particular tool, and they include the export timers tool. So when so timer indicates when data should be exported for reporting purpose. Then network flow export format. So this will indicate what are the things that should be there in the exported data. So other things include the network flow server for collecting and uh, reporting purposes. So in this Cisco developed FNF tool, the key components include the cache memory, that is FNF flow monitor cache, then flow record, exporter tool, then the timers, then the format in which the data has to be exported, the fields to be included in it, and the server where the collecting and reporting will happen. So using these data, then they can be visualized on any of the analysis tools in a graphical manner, so that one can analyze the abnormal behaviors in this maybe network traffic, or we can also look into the utilization of the network so that it can be used for billing purpose. So this flexible net flow tool that can be used in multi-service IoT networks also. So when we have the multiple services running, all those things can be combined together and aggregated to provide the overall analysis of the aggregated traffic. So then in multi-services IoT networks, so this analysis tool can be deployed on any of the router that aggregates the data. So which gives the global view of all the services that are flowing from the core network in the cloud and the IoT last mile connectivity. So this FNF can also be configured on a last mile gateway such as a fog node to provide more granular or deeper visibility into the network traffic. So this FNF has tool that is developed by Cisco has a lot of advantages, but it also has the network analysis has a lot of challenges. They include the distributed nature of fog and edge computing. They may have the traffic flow that are processed at a different geography, and that may not even support the flow analytics, so that the visibility of the entire application will be lost. And IPv4 and IPv6, they use the native interfaces. So sometimes they will also be used inside a VPN tunnels. So if VPNs are used, then we cannot analyze the traffic flow because the packet itself gets encapsulated uh, in another packet. So we cannot see the packet contents and analyze it. So that is a problem in tunneling. Then additional network management traffics are also generated by the FNF tools. They also add to the traffic. So the added cost will be there, increasing the bandwidth to accommodate this particular tool. That will also add on to the cost of the entire network. So the three disadvantages, they include some of the flows, they are not fit into the analytics. And secondly, VPN tunnels, they will not allow us to look inside the packet and analyze them. And along with that, deploying a reporting tool, it will also generate the data and hence increases the bandwidth. So these are the few key disadvantages of having a network analysis tool. So with this, we have completed all the aspects of data analytics for IoT. So we started with why analytics is required, then machine learning, big data, edge streaming analytics, and finally with